Welcome to an insane, crazy, mind-blowing, jaw-dropping, exclamation pointing show. We are talking all about the British Grand Prix today on Box Box Goss. We are having so much fun. This is going to be a really explosive show. I mean, just given everything that happened, it was kind of insane. But before we get into the drama that is Silverstone, there is one really there's two things. One, unfortunately, Effie couldn't make it because tell us why, Selo. Tell us why.
So, as usual, Effie was irresponsible and she didn't let her sisters know. But Effie's actually on an island off the coast of Kenya celebrating with Mick Schumacher. They're celebrating his first points. People don't know about this. His agent doesn't know about this. I'm Effie's agent, and so I know, obviously. And so yeah, that's what's been happening. So she won't be joining us today. She did tell me that if Saddam does criticize her husband in any way, I have until I make everyone deaf, which I can't promise that I'll do because I kind of want to come back next week, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh. We won't be saying anything mean about him. I have nothing to say mean about him. I have something to say about his opponent, but we'll get to that. One of his opponents, we'll get to that. Another thing that also happened was, of course, and you'll probably need a beat for this one. Fucking yes.
Nelson on time, as usual.
I know, I'm great.
Yes, very fine.
Mr. PK Senior.
Oh, we're getting right into it. Okay.
Oh, we're going straight into it.
All right.
Because we don't have time. Mr. PK Senior, many moons ago, decided to make some very, very, very inflammatory comments about a 7-time world champion. And no, it's not the white one.
Hey.
I mean, and then he decided to double down and say, I'm sorry if it offended everyone, but it's not a rude word in our country and things like that. And like, look, okay, fine. I'm not Brazilian. But a shit ton of Brazilians have come up saying in the way that he said it, and I'm not going to repeat the word. Why would I repeat the word? In the way that he said it, it was not a term of endearment.
No way. No way on planet Earth was that. No. Because he said it 3 times during the conversation and he showed no remorse for it anyways. And it is not a term for endearment. That's what he said, right? Endearment? No, it's not.
It's not a term of endearment.
Nope. And on top of that, he also used a homophobic slur on Kiki Rosberg as well too. So it's like you got racial slurs against Lewis Hamilton, homophobic slurs against Kiki Rosberg. The guy's out of control. It's not right. It's unacceptable.
So I mean, look, obviously you'll be an idiot if you thought that what he said was fine. First of all, I mean, that's one thing. But secondly, a lot of other teams, pretty much, I think most of the teams, with one notable exception, kind of rallied around Lewis Hamilton and things like that.
I mean, there
Ferrari's
are
unusual. Ferrari doesn't usually rally.
No, it's not even Ferrari. No. The teams who did put out a statement, Mercedes themselves included, and I said this in the group chat.
Mercedes themselves included.
They were words of support of Lewis Hamilton and a condemnation against the concept of racism. which is
just racist.
which is, kind of stating the obvious. I sure hope so. But nothing about the event, nothing about who did it, and nothing about who said it.
No, and you know what? Honestly, for me, that's the bare minimum that they can do. But honestly, that's probably what I expect out of them. Mercedes was incredibly disappointing. But everyone
Mercedes
else
was the most disappointing one.
Yeah,
Which one?
was.
Mercedes was the most disappointing one. Other teams,
of course, yeah.
I understand, but really,
It wasn't about them. But Mercedes was you won't call out the guy that said those things. Either way, long story short, F1 also got a hold of it, and I heard that
eventually
he's banned from the paddock.
they got a hold of it eventually, and they didn't announce it publicly. They didn't say publicly that PK's banned. Someone got the news that PK's banned. We never got the actual thing. So
and even a conditional ban, it's either he apologized to Lewis Hamilton or he gets banned. So it's there's it's action, but it's not enough action because of course Nelson Piquet Jr. and Nelson Piquet Sr. should be apologizing, and of course he should be banned from the paddock. But at the same time, it's just it feels like we're doing a dance around him, which allegedly is because that Nelson Piquet Sr. can't sue. But the thing is that if everyone calls it out, he can't sue everybody.
If we all call him out, he's not going to sue all of us.
Afraid of a small 3-time world champion. Let's be honest.
My gosh.
I know he is a 3-time world champion.
Doesn't matter.
A lot of people trying to win.
Nope, everyone's 3-time world champion. Fernando Alonso is a 2-time world champion. Kimi Räikkönen's a 1-time world champion. Who cares? Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time world champion. He's the face of the sport. It goes to show how little they care. And honestly, look, I'm not a Hamilton fan. Okay? I think he's a great driver. I think he's very talented. And I think out of a lot of drivers, he's a good role model, which I can't say that for most. And I think... Great, lost my train of thought. Fantastic.
I know you lost your train of thought, but while you gained it back, it just sounded like all the makings of someone that could potentially be a Hamilton fan in the future. That was a lot.
No, don't get me wrong. I am convinced. But here's the thing, right? I don't have a favorite team or a favorite driver anymore, right? Because Renault left, became Alpine, and it's the same people running the team. And so technically I should support Alpine, but I loved Renault for what it was. And I think it just doesn't have that same feeling to me anymore. So it's I enjoy the sport for enjoying the sport. If there's a really talented driver, if there's a really good driver who's sort of been training and sort of, been getting championships for a reason, I think it's worth respecting that driver. I really do think, even if I didn't like Hamilton, and I do, just for the love of the sport, Yeah. It just pisses me off. And it's anyone who uses that word publicly 3 times in the same sentence, somewhat same sentence, uses much worse in private.
Of course. He's probably saying all sorts of kind of things in private, probably with that hard R.
And I respected Hamilton for how he replied to the whole thing.
Oh, yes!
Let me find it. So, someone, just a random person on Twitter, right? And, I don't want to diss them, but, just a random person, right? Said, and Harry said this, right? So he said, sorry, I say. Sorry, go on.
I was trying to say that their Twitter handle is Formula Radical. Formula Radical, I believe.
Raducanu. Get better Twitter handles, people. Okay.
I want to add formula to something. Anyway, continue.
Yes.
He said, what if Lewis Hamilton just tweeted, who the fuck is Nelson Piquet? Then closed Twitter. And Lewis Hamilton quote tweeted, and wrote imagine. And he didn't say anything else. And this is why I have respect for him, right? Because it's like, it's so, and he'd be right to do this, right? He'd be justified to do this, but it's so easy to like have a go at someone online. And like, he could have had a go at Nelson PK. And I kind of wish he did, because Nelson PK fucking deserved it. Deserved it. But I think the fact that he just said, imagine, and he just left it is great. And then what he said was much better. What he said was, like his statement that he put out was much better. I think he said that it's not about the word. It's a lot about the mindset. And I think there's a lot of work there to change the mindset of people, especially when it comes to racism and segregation in general.
Yeah. And so many other things as well, too.
I don't know.
So much pain about that word. And it's like, the thing is that it's like now people are understanding it, but at the same time, it's like, it's not getting through to people quickly enough.
No.
And yeah.
Sorry, I keep on cutting people off. Sorry.
No, you're fine. And it's like the same thing happened with Jury Vips and Red Bull actually during the time when all the teams were making statements about it. Red Bull came out and said, okay, we're suspended. We're parting ways with Jury Vips. He's no longer our driver, reserve driver. And
but he's still in the program, which blew me away. How? How?
Christian Horner just came out saying that he's still in the program.
Okay, but here's the thing.
I'm like, well, what the?
Helmut Marko runs the program.
Yeah, of course.
And Helmut Marko is not a fan of people in general.
No, unless you are cis, white, and rich. Oh, and a man. Generally.
Definitely a man.
Definitely a man.
It's like you look at Mercedes' test driver program. You look at Mercedes' test driver program, and look, how do I put this? The word for it. There's a politically correct word for hiring people of color without filling a
diversity
just to fill a quota. Yeah. So and I'm against just like fake inclusivity, right? I'm against fake inclusivity. Oh, we have a person of color on our team. Okay, you should have more. Like they're, higher because of talent. But if you look at Mercedes, they have a young girl who's in the driver program, and they have, people from different countries who are part of the driver program. And granted, they only have one girl, but Red Bull is just boys, and it's always just been boys. And any woman driver who's been in F1 or who's gotten close enough to F1 has always been in a Mercedes engine team, never Red Bull. Carmen Jorda was in a Lotus with a Mercedes engine. Susie Wolf was in a Williams with a Mercedes engine. This young girl who's in the Mercedes test driver program, Mercedes engine.
I mean, even Ferrari does that. This is saying something. It's Ferrari, right? Ferrari even has Maya Young, I think.
Wait, do they actually? I didn't know they did.
Yeah, she's a part of the drivers. She's a part of the Ferrari drivers, I think, program as well. So
yeah,
even Ferrari. That's the
know.
bare minimum.
You got.
And Red Bull can't even make that. Anyway, this is besides the point.
Exactly, it's besides the point.
But the point is that fuck Nelson PK, and we need you. And if you agree with anything that he said and you don't see a problem with it, then you need to get yourself damn educated. Google is free. That's it. I don't want to go into it too much, but we're not here to explain it all to you. So please, get with the program or just get out of the sport. We don't need you.
And also the sport in general, it's been 2 years since we've been discussing this. What are we doing? Are we going to keep on putting out these nice statements that, let's be honest, anyone can write?
Recycled.
Are we going to start taking some action? Yeah, it's recycled. Are we going to take some action here? Like,
Yeah.
what's the plan? What's the game plan?
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. Maybe, never. Anyway, let's get on to the rest. Let's get on to happier news, right? We had a
There's
very,
happier
very
news?
exciting weekend. Oh, it's the British Grand Prix. That was somewhat exciting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which, according to Martin Brundle, one of the best races he's ever commentated. I'm inclined to agree. I think it was a good race.
It was certainly the best race we've had this season, and we are so excited for the guests that we have on the show. She wanted to be on for the British Grand Prix last year, but unfortunately couldn't make it. So we're so excited that we get to be on such an exciting show with her. Please welcome back the one, the only, Sheffy.
Hi, Fede.
Hi,
guys.
How's it going? How you doing?
Excited because it's the British Grand Prix. Are you excited because you're very Ghanaian today?
Both.
She was just waiting for someone to point out the shirt. Don't encourage her.
Look, no. Listen, we need to, I could be like the climate activist. I just want to say, you guys need to give our gold back. We need our artifacts back. Let's go back to the British Museum and bring them back. But I digress. But yes, I'm a very Ghanaian today. Anyway, but Sheffy, it's so great to have you back.
It's so good to be back, Dave.
How are you feeling? How are you enjoying the season? And tell me what's up. How are you going?
I'm actually now starting to enjoy the season. You just said that it's actually one of the best races that we've had so far. Maybe not in every lap, but it actually has been exciting this weekend. And hopefully this coming weekend is going to be even more exciting. Not with the crashes, but just with the pace of the race. That's about it.
No,
and I had a conversation with Nelson, and I am fuming that nothing was actually done to him. I mean, worst case scenario, I think the F1 paddock said they weren't going to give him access. But what does that mean in general? He can still watch races. So it's like, is it a slap on the wrist? Is it just telling him, you did this, but do better next time? Zero support generally. That's just what I think.
What are we going to do with men like him, honestly? And there's so many of them in the grid.
Yeah,
it's just
disappointing.
Sadly, we will never run out.
Unfortunately. It's easier though. This generation seems tight, but we'll see how it goes. But that's besides the point though. I mean, Britain was exciting. It was dramatic. And it was exciting from the start of the weekend all the way to the finish. So can I get right into it? Shall we? Let's start with qualifying. So Carlos Sainz had an amazing weekend. Let's just say that immediately. He started on pole, which is fantastic. Max Verstappen came in on second, and it was, am I right? Charles Leclerc was third? Yeah, Charles Leclerc was third. Yeah. Those two did not have good races.
It's Ferrari. They never do.
Yeah.
Ferrari. Oh my God.
No, it's Ferrari.
No.
I mean,
I just realized there was drama also with Ferrari as well too. But I'll get to it. Hopefully, we'll have time to get to it after I speak about it. But it was a wet and wild qualifying. I mean,
everywhere.
Everyone was just doing things and having the best time. I mean, Hamilton is amazing in the wet, so he got to fifth, which was good. And for once, out-qualified his teammate. Anyway, his teammate was having a terrible time as well too. I mean, his teammate ended up. Where did he end up? Eighth.
He was eighth.
Yeah, so it wasn't his greatest. But yeah, I mean, qualifying was amazing, but forget qualifying. Let's go straight to the race. It was a crazy race full of so many incidents. But let's just get the results out of the way. Carlos Sainz, it was his first ever win, right? That was his first win.
I don't want to have to do 150 tries before I get one thing right. No, but I'm so excited for Carlos Sainz.
I'm so excited for him. And I'm actually really surprised that a lot of the Tifosi, and this is the news I had, a lot of the Tifosi were not happy about it. because it impacted Charles's race with the
I was
strategy.
shocked to hear that.
No, I think that is so unfair because they asked Carlos Sainz to let Charles come through. And in spite of that, and Charles decided to not pit and change the soft tires. That's on him. So I don't think that we should take this glory away. Come on.
I'm just really surprised. Like that was on him and the strategy at that point in time. And yes, they made errors with not hitting them during the safety cars, but like
I think it's because he disobeyed team orders and he decided they're not going to pick me over the favorite child. And he won and he made a good show of it.
Yeah.
And
I think this is the part where you can say that fuck what everybody thinks, but I'm really glad for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, in the end, it's like, I'm not sure what happened with not pitting for the soft tires because it's like he needed those soft tires, to be honest, to get to that win.
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing is, and also he was also held up in the back with Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton as well too. And it's like, no, it's just, it looks like, I think the what happened with the Tifosi with the British Grand Prix is that it hit a nerve. And it's like, now it's kind of starting to see the division because some people on Carlos Sainz's side, they all came out while Charles Leclerc's side was hanging in the back. And it's like, I mean, it's just really sad circumstances. And it's like,
that's really, I don't understand why they're fracturing like this, but it also needs to go. Anyway, so I don't know how you can lead a team that doesn't support each other's drivers. And that's kind of weird.
Every single team has a favorite and then everybody else has to fall in line. This is such a Ricardo Verstappen example. This is such a Bottas Hamilton. We've seen this so many times.
Yes, but then the number 2 drivers also deserve a chance to shine. Red Bull's not a good example. Let's look at Mercedes because they have let Bottas win when he has had the pace. So like, and Russell has been able to be ahead of Hamilton because he's had the pace.
They never let Bottas win when Hamilton was competing for the championship. When it was a championship race, they never let Bottas win. Abu Dhabi, after Hamilton won, sure.
In the Italian Grand Prix in 2020, Bottas had the fastest car, the one that Pierre won. Bottas had the fastest car. Hamilton came from 17 and came up for it. Don't say that they never let Bottas win. He doesn't make the effort. And that's why we didn't want him on the team.
He was getting very tired.
But don't let me start.
Hey, don't get me started about Bottas.
I am gonna start with you, so go on.
So that knows.
Calm down.
This podcast knows. This podcast knows my distaste for Bottas. Don't get me started.
I love Bottas, and it's not just his ass in the whatever, but
yeah. So.
I mean,
you all need the golden buzzer, and because I don't have one.
Where's the golden buzzer?
But that's awesome. I'm not so proud of him for exposing it all to the world and making sure that we all have a taste of it. It's great. It's
well too. So that is really impressive and very brave on his part. And it's like,
we're not even here to talk about the ass. There was no ass in this race. We're here to talk about everything else. Please. Second, Ken Checo, which he did some sus moves during the fight, but during the lap 46 fight, but I'll talk about that later. And then third was Lewis Hamilton. Glory came back to Silverstone. It was amazing. It was wonderful. We all had a great time. But can we talk about the start?
Yeah.
I don't think we can talk about this Grand Prix without that start. Holy fuck, thank the Lord Jesus Christ, Mary and Joseph, anybody that you pray to for the halo. Holy crap. I like screamed. I was like, what the hell was that? Like, it just kept going and going, and the poor boy. Oh, Charles. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that Joe is okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because it could have gone bad. I don't think you remember Antoine's crash because the car flipped and other people did crash into him. If it was that bad in this circumstance, when he had flipped, people would have crashed into him before he hit the wall, and that wouldn't have ended well. So yeah, we're so grateful for the halo, and we are actually just grateful that he's okay. So
like I remember that, like hearing the news about the crash coming out, it was very scary because it's like you don't know if this guy's okay or not. And we also got to see video of the car coming into the grandstands, and I'm just thinking those poor people, they must have been so scared. Like one person would run up, and I would have done the same thing too. Like I can't imagine. And every single safety precaution that has been put in is a blessing, and need more, because it's like it's doing the work. It is literally doing the work because Zhou Guan Yu walked away that day, and so did
He walked
Alex.
away fine, and
He
he
came
was
back to the paddock.
like, to the paddock. Like, oh
Which
my
is
God, Stefano
amazing.
Domatelli was there to go and look after him. And I'm like, how is this boy standing? How is this?
Same way
How do you
Goshen
stand
jumped
after
out.
that?
Same
Your
way
helmet
Goshen
went
jumped
across the pavement. How do you stand after that? It was. I'm just so grateful. And then and also Alex Albon, that was also a scary moment. That was just a whole mess at the back. It was just so scary. Also seeing him go up. You actually landed himself in hospital as well. So we're glad that he's made a speedy recovery for both of them. Massive kudos to the marshals. You guys are everything. We love you. And also shout out to George Russell. I mean, like,
for checking on him.
Yeah, to go and check on, to go and rush and help Zhao out. So like, George Russell has a really strong character, and I really appreciate like having a guy like that.
Because can we just say that when there was the crash?
Okay, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. Let's not talk about him. I want to talk about him in another sense where he did something else. But like, let's not go there. I just want to say, Russell, you're a gent and you're a gem. Thank you, and thank you to everyone that helped those guys out.
Can we talk about the people who were knocking? Were there people on Twitter who were criticizing him for beaching the car to go and help Albon?
I think
were people criticizing him for beaching it?
Things about you, so
why would people say anything? Like, did you not see how bad that crash was? And Russell was someone involved in it.
I saw a really good video, a really nice video that someone had made. I mean, okay, it's about a crash. How nice can it be? But like, where the first clip is about George Russell sort of helping the marshals and stuff and sort of getting out of the car and running. And then the second video is of, oh my gosh, I'm going to get this wrong. I don't remember. It's an older Formula One race where another driver got crashed into and the driver ran to help him. It was quite, not nostalgic, but it was quite emotional. It was really good.
Yeah.
And I will get knocked on because I don't know the driver, because it was probably a really famous crash and I don't remember their name.
I mean, I just, like, it did hark back to the 70s and things like that, where there were notoriously bad crashes. And unfortunately, all the safety precautions were in place at that time. So like fencing around the grandstands, there were cars that were going into the audience sometimes. Like, it was like all that sort of stuff. It was just like, so like, it did bring back a lot of like those 70s. Like, it made me feel like I was watching Rush, but in like a real sense of the word. And that was that's always terrifying when that is the case. I think
it's nice when the drivers go out to help, because you're actually the only people who understand what it is to be in the car in that situation. So it's really nice.
Yeah, and it goes to show that there's more things to what they're doing than just winning. It's like to see that George Russell and essentially gave up his race to go and help one of his fellow drivers out there. It says a lot of good things about his character, and the fact that F1 actually disqualified him for it.
No, they didn't.
No, he broke the rules. He got out of the car.
But the car
he didn't get disqualified. The car didn't move. Like, they didn't go out of their way to disqualify him.
The car was broke, so
once the car stops, anyway. You can't start it again.
Yeah.
No, you just take out a little key on the steering wheel and And then the car starts. No.
Right, because that's how a Formula One car works.
That's exactly how a Formula One car starts.
Really?
No.
I was
No,
about to say.
it's a series of complicated machinery. Anyways,
Yeah,
the gravel
it really
traps are gravel traps. You are not getting out of those, even if your car was running.
No, absolutely not. I want to talk about the greatest lap that we have seen since for this entire season and honestly for the last 2 seasons. Mr. Lap 46.
You're forgetting.
Drivers fighting for second place.
You're forgetting Lance Stroll's pole lap from Turkey 2020.
I remember that.
I said last 2, so I'm including 2021 and this year. So that includes the stuff.
Caught me
I
on
don't
a
know how to do
technicality.
numbers. Anyway, look, I am so I mean, like, if anyone, people were saying and that they're so grateful for like the rule changes. I, like Sheffy, was not on board with the rule changes when it first started, especially since it hurt my team. But
it wasn't changed properly. No.
But like,
how's the no side pod design going?
Anyway, but
Hamilton is carrying that car.
But now watching it and everything like that, and like just seeing 5 different cars from 4 different constructors fight for the second place, that was a really exciting moment. I was peeing my pants because I needed Hamilton to at least get podium. But like all those little battles and things like that's cool racing. That's the sort of stuff that Formula One is made out of. So yeah, that was great.
That's skill.
And the way we've missed that, oh my goodness. Like we've been getting this throughout the season, but this is something special. Like this is something that you tell your children and their children about. And it's just like, it was really, really cool to see. But yeah, it was really, really cool to see.
It was just a magical moment. And I just think just to witness all those cars and all the the nerves and the excitement of it and the drama and the crowd roaring and everything like that, just like the feel of it. It's just it's cool. We could go into the technical aspects of, no, we can't. We're not technical at all. But
where's Alfie when you need her?
I know. Honestly.
What if she was on holiday with somebody who doesn't exist?
Michael, speaking of him,
hi.
Great.
Michael Schumacher is great.
Can I just say that the cherry on top would have been if he had passed Verstappen. I was clinging to my seat, just hoping that Mick will pass, and it would have been such a beautiful
I
finish.
wanted him to. I wanted him to so bad.
It would have been a magical moment. I would have. Oh, that would have been.
Here, can we take a moment to talk about racecraft?
Yes, because that's also a good place to talk about racecraft. Some you got it or you don't, and some people.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing.
We're probably going to get shaded for this, and
here's the thing.
Sorry.
I am not saying that Verstappen is a bad driver. He is very talented in the wet. I think since he was in the sport at 17 years old, right? It's impressive, right? The kid has talent. But there is another aspect of racecraft which he is sorely missing. And maybe this comes from not receiving love as a child, or I don't know, being shouted at by your dad for not being good enough, having your dad's dreams imposed on you because he couldn't achieve jack. But there is a second part to racecraft, and that is being aware of your surroundings and respecting the drivers around you. Because racing is not a battle to the death. Racing is more like a respectful fencing match. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you jab one, the other person jabs you, and you're not holding actual sharp swords. Right? No one's out to kill each other. And as much as there's this element of adrenaline and there's this element of, anger when a driver is driving, I feel like just some drivers who have racecraft, who respect the other driver, know when to sort of slow down a little bit and sort of come back on the next lap. That's what makes him a good driver. That's what we saw with Charles Leclerc when he was sort of holding back on the DRS and sort of being careful about it and such. I will not get into Ferrari. I really want to talk about Ferrari. Anyways, it's just, that sort of racecraft is important. And, you see that with Charles Leclerc because he grew up in the Ferrari Driver Academy, right? He is, and this is why the Tifosi like him so much as well, going back to the whole issue with Sainz. He grew up in the Ferrari Driver Academy. He went through Formula 2. He went through Sauber, which became Alfa Romeo when he joined Sports Alfa Romeo in 2018, and then he joined Ferrari. So he's been sort of Ferrari's golden boy, right? Well, used to be apparently Ferrari's golden boy. And the training shows, right? The history that Ferrari has with their, not anymore. Back then, Niki Lauda and all those Ferrari drivers. It shows, it shows the type of training that they receive. And I think you need that sort of compassion. And I think Lewis Hamilton has that. We can see that with Anthony Hamilton. That's his father's name, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we see that he has that compassion for racing. And I think, as much as I think, yes, you should brake late. Yes, you should try and sort of overtake and take every opportunity that you can.
Mm-hmm.
But don't push the driver off track. Be careful, right? I don't know. I just feel like Verstappen has always had this terrible, terrible racecraft. Like that aspect of racecraft has been terrible. Like ever since he sort of pushed or like moved under braking and stuff when he was not much younger, 2-3 years ago. I don't know. He just doesn't have respect for the drivers around him. Good driver. Great in the wet.
Think he's always been rewarded for doing that. Because if you go back to when he was teammates with Ricardo, every single time there was an issue, Max would drive his car and go and avenge whatever that happened. And I don't know if it's a culture in Red Bull, if I have enough authority to say this, but it wasn't going well when Gasly was there. You are trained to behave like a robot. You have to win the race. The end justifies the means. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you get to the finish line and you made it. So, I mean, yes, Verstappen has this non-emotional side of it, which I feel like it's good to turn it off sometimes when you're on the track. Maybe that's how he can concentrate. Not that I'm a Verstappen fan, but I also think that he's been rewarded for doing these things. And so he doesn't see, when he doesn't give Hamilton a chance, other people are cheering. And it's exciting because that's what he's supposed to do. So who are you, the other drivers? Why does he need to now be overly emotional or be even emotionally intelligent about who else is on the racetrack? That's what gets him to the championship. So that's what Red Bull needs.
And it's actually funny that you say that because I think it might be very much a Red Bull thing that Max brought onto it. Because Sergio Perez, I've never seen it, going back to the battles that he had a little bit, he got a little bit feisty in there. And he is a guy that has a pretty good, I would say, pretty good racecraft. He knows how to defend intelligently. He knows when to take chances, knows when to be a bit aggressive. Like he has an understanding and an awareness of it. But in that particular battle, he got a little bit nippy, and I've never really actually seen that in him. And some people have commented on it being like, there may have been spots where Sergio probably, I think they actually noted that one of them might have been an incident between him and Hamilton. So like, it's the stewards did. So I think it's a Red Bull thing because like they are new kids on the block. So they're like the relatively new kids on the block. And so like, not a lot of teams have a little bit of a story history. They all have tailored and honed in their craft, and you can tell like all the other, 18 or so drivers are a bit more gentlemanly, like when it comes to racing. And it, much like the analogy is very much fencing. Whereas the two Red Bull drivers aren't. It's really strange. I mean, like Sergio Perez to an extent is. I won't put him in there. But Max, no one drives like that. No one else on the grid drives like that. It's really weird.
Max
So,
is
like, I mean,
the thing is that,
Max is the first driver that we've seen be nurtured in the Red Bull driver program and make it to a top seat drive and be successful. And I think it sort of shows the culture around Red Bull because
so imagine what the new boys are going to come up and do, like Jury Viss. If he ever makes it to an F1 seat, what is he going to do?
Okay, can I just say the two most controversial junior drivers both were a part of the Red Bull program.
Oh, for goodness sake.
But I don't think it's the Red Bull program's problem. I'm just saying they attract those type of people because they see Max and they're like, oh, I can drive aggressive.
The Red Bull program. He doesn't necessarily drive like that.
yeah.
Who?
Like,
Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, but Carlos Sainz left to Renault. But any successful driver who's made it successful with Red Bull and came up from junior program, Sebastian Vettel, when they're at Red Bull, they were aggressive. No one liked them. No one liked them. Hamilton. People don't like Hamilton for other reasons, right? People hate him because he's successful. People hated Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen because they are who they are. Like that was their personality. I think Vettel's grown out of it. Vettel's grown out of it.
he has.
But he's also been at Ferrari.
Yes, and we saw how painful he was treated at Ferrari, and we didn't like that.
Max is just great racing against robots. He's absolutely fantastic if he's going to do that. But not when they're human beings with families and things waiting on them. You don't do that.
I still feel bad for Max just a little bit because he talked about how his dad treated him recently.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah.
I do feel bad for.
And it explains a lot.
Sorry, I'm not putting him off. Yeah.
It explains a lot.
Actually,
I agree. I think he came from a trouble. It was a troubled childhood, and just I'm not gonna say it anyway.
No, like I saw bits and pieces of that, and yeah, it was heartbreaking. My heart does go out to Max Verstappen, and it's like no. But no, I mean the racecraft part, it makes sense. I think Max, that in that battle, it also shows that Mick Schumacher, he still got it. Like he still got it. And it's like we were doubting him, and at one point it's like, but then it's like we're seeing him going up against he's going up against Max Verstappen. He's still holding his nerve. And it's like, guys still got it.
He's still trying to prove that I'm not just here because I've got a famous name. I can actually do this sport. I'm actually passionate about it. And I think that's about it, really.
Yeah. He's going to make a great brother-in-law.
I think people set too high of an expectation on him because of his name.
People do.
Obviously. I mean, we did the same to like
even though
Rolf Schumacher.
Even though part of his name is what got him into the sport. Right? Fair.
Yeah.
But he's so new. It's his second year in the sport. I don't understand why people are criticizing him a lot. I do want to talk about Haas's resurgence. Can we talk about Haas's resurgence? I am so happy that
a minute to talk about Haas's
Russian is gone. I'm so happy Russian is gone. Oh my gosh, Haas is an American successful team again. It feels like it's 2016.
And we love to see it. No, not 2016.
Oh, God.
Okay, United States. Let's do 2012.
No, 2016 Haas because Haas was
in like America political terms. I'm talking about 2012. 2012.
No, you gotta go really, really far back. Like, when was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1770.
Yeah, 1776 politically, but no, like team wise, you know, Haas in 2016, they were new, they were American, they were young, they were successful, and there was a lot of buzz. Cool. And now they were
cool.
No, And like now that Kevin Magnus, oh my gosh, Kevin Magnussen is great. Now that Kevin Magnussen is like back in the team, there's like so much excitement. And like having Mick Schumacher there as well.
Yeah.
It's like all of my wishes have been answered, you know?
Nobody's having the best season more than Gunther. He's just absolutely having the time of his life as team principal. So
yeah. And we want him to stay on for as long as possible because I want to see him at that boat in the fake marina in Miami.
Yes.
That's all I want in life.
And he makes Drive to Survive what it is. So
He does, he really does.
I just want to see him on the float, Gunter Steiner dancing with a boat, and it would be like, can we bring that in for the US Grand Prix where he just gets on a boat and he just dances?
That should be the pre-race event that should be the pre-race event for Miami.
It really should.
Oh my gosh, we need a boat float. We need to contact Macy's, and we need to get like a Thanksgiving yacht, right? And then we need to parade Gutensteiner around the track. Because the off-track areas are like blue anyways, and so it makes sense.
It is blue.
It worked out very well. Okay, so we need to wrap up. We're doing things a little differently because we want to also make sure that our runtime's not too short. So we're going to leave final thoughts to our guests to wrap up and say how they feel about the British Grand Prix. So with all due respect, so with that, take it away, Sheffy.
Okay, so final thoughts. Let me do a comparison between Verstappen and Hamilton in the sense that I don't know the cause of the puncture for Verstappen's car, but I think that it could have gone very bad. And I don't know if subsequently Red Bull is starting to have problems with their cars. In contrast to that, let me talk about Hamilton's car getting the fastest lap. I don't know if we're supposed to be encouraged by that to say that Mercedes is sort of coming back on board with their speed, with the control of the car. It's not doing the hydraulics thing anymore. They're starting to actually have the pace that we've been expecting. I know that we're mid-race, but Abu Dhabi is quite far off, that maybe there's some sort of hope for Mercedes. And well, what else do we have to talk about? I need to throw it back to you.
It's yours. It's your floor.
Otherwise, basic things, British Grand Prix will always be British Grand Prix because English people are English people. And so the excitement, the fun, let's be real. I know you're very Ghanaian. I am even more Ghanaian, but we love the British Grand Prix. You know how I feel about British Grand Prix. So yes, every single year I will look forward to it. And then maybe hopefully next year I will be there to wear a very Ghanaian top and just let you know. Yes, but otherwise I'm looking forward to the other races, and I'm praying for no more crashes. Everybody should be okay. I want the stewards to be fair because we really need them to be. And then, Formula One should be this exciting all the time.
Yay! Oh, that was a good wrap up. Woo! Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for being on again. We love having you on. Is there anything you want to plug or anything like that, or Instagram
I just
handles?
want to clarify that Mick Schumacher is not in Kenya. Get over it. He's not.
I'm sorry, what was said?
Don't bleep me out.
What was said?
She said that Mick Schumacher was not in Kenya, to
He
which
is not
you
in
replied.
I said off
He's
the
not on an
coast!
island.
Off the coast of Kenya! Off
He's
the
not
coast!
on the island. He's not.
Close enough.
Get
Close
over it.
enough. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining our British Grand Prix show. Wherever Mick Schumacher is, we hope he's celebrating his first points. We will please make sure to leave a comment, to like our channel, to subscribe because we need subscribers. And we will see you in 1 week for an Austrian Grand Prix. There will be a sprint race. May God have mercy on us.
Oh, there's a sprint race?
Yes, there is, unfortunately.
How do you not know this, but you know Mick is in Kenya?
I have sources. They tell me specific things.
All right. We'll see you later. Take care, Pit Crew. We love you still. Bye.
Bye.